Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman figure. This is a Batman from the Rebirth comics, from the Dark Knight's Metal storyline, and he's part of the Merciless Wave. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging here. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, got the Spawn logo there, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse Batman. Collect to build the Merciless, and here he is. This is hopefully going to be their best Batman figure yet. The only other regular Rebirth Batman was from the first wave, and he suffered from some issues. So you can see he's got the yellow belt, the yellow bat symbol risen out there. He comes with two axes, which I think are from the cover of the comic, and as I read, I don't believe he used it for very long in the book. And then he has the arms of Merciless. So on one side, we've got Batman for the Dark Knight's Metal. Other side simply says Batman. At the bottom, there is a barcode, in case that helps anybody, as well as a bunch of credits. And then on the back side, here he is, the front of the comic, looking like a straight savage. Then we got instructions how to build Merciless. And then here's a few other McFarlane Multiverse figures you should track down. And I did end up getting two of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, the other one to keep unopened in my complete 6 and 7 inch unopened Batman related action figure collection. And I got this guy with a pretty big haul from Amazon. We've got 3 different figures, 2 of each, 4 figures if you count Merciless. Amazon delivered my Crow Robins a few days ago and finally completed the wave today. And before we open these guys up, here's a look at where the unopened figures went, with the other unopened Batman-related action figures in front of my Batman-related comics. As you can see, all of their multiverse Bat-related characters, all Batman and related. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. He does come with a display stand, a collector's card, 2 axes, and then the right and left arms for the Collect and Connect Merciless figure. Now before we look at the accessories, let's check out the actual figure. So this is their second sort of traditional Batman. This is from the Rebirth comics, specifically from Dark Knight's Metal. You can see his face. Looks a little wonky, just sort of the eyes. He's got this angry expression, his mouth semi-frowning. It looks good, but it's a very specific look. Ears sort of semi-long. Going further down, his bat symbol is risen. It looks really nice. In the promo pictures, I didn't like it. I don't know if they toned it down or it just looks better in hand, but it looks pretty good. Going lower, his cape sort of flowing to the side. It looks great, but once again, it's for a very specific look to it. I would have rather had a regular flowing downward cape. His suit looks fantastic. All the different detail, texture, weathering, damage on it. It looks really nice. I mean, there's damage here, all over the place, inside of here, on his legs, and even on the back a little bit. Really liking all the detail they put into this thing. Looks like he has butterfly joints, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. Now I'll really quickly talk about the things I'm surprised and possibly don't like about him. The way they executed the head articulation, his neck moves at the very base. Just definitely not what I'm used to. Sure, it can still get around, it can tilt, do all kind of cool stuff, but just very surprised about that. I was expecting it to be here. If you want to do any sort of head swap, put that out of the idea right now. His cape looks good, but like I said, kind of very specific. I'd almost rather it be just going normal, generic, so I can use it in more circumstances. And then the ball in his elbows and ankles, kind of hard to use. I can barely hinge at all because it just sort of blocked by his gauntlets. And same with his ankles here. Can sort of barely go up and down, just sort of blocked with his boots. Overall, he looks great, but is he better than the previous Rebirth Batman? Probably yes, but he has quite a bit of flaws as well. And now let's check out his accessories. And let's start off with the boring stuff. So here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand. It's a black perfect circle. Got Got the DC logo at the bottom. It's got one peg for the peg holes in their feet. Very thin, very basic. Now let's look at his collector's card. Here's an image from the comics where he's holding those axes. Looks like he's got blood on his mouth as well. And the backside here, there's a little bio and description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. And here are the Merciless arms he comes with. I must say, the detail, the sculpt, the texturing is amazing on this thing. Just look at that. This is McFarlane's first Collect and Connect figure. It's supposed to be their biggest DC figure yet, at least until the Build-A-Bane comes. They said that guy's going to be even larger. I wish that Devastator was made as a Build-A-Figure. He could have used to be a lot bigger. But I understand back when they made him, they weren't actually doing Build-A-Figures. They were still doing Build-A-Batmobiles. And I must say, I am so happy they switched. Here are his two axes. From what I've read, he only used them for a little bit in the book. And I really don't need any axes for my Batman figures, so these are probably going to go to a different action figure, but still a cool accessory nonetheless. They are not exactly the same. You can see the backside here, quite different. There's a lot of weathering on this. It looks really nice, the blade. Finally, McFarlane actually painted an accessory several different colors. It's got wooden handle and then a wrap along the base. Overall, I think they did a really nice job with these. Although, like I said, don't really have a lot of love for an axe for my Batman figures. Here he is, holding both of his axes, similar to the way he was shown on his collector's card. And here he is, getting ready to attack somebody with these axes. Now, I get that those axes were very story-specific, but I'm a little bit more used to my Batman having more traditional accessories. Here he is holding the Batarang that came with the first Wave Rebirth Batman. And here with a grapnel launcher that came with the animated Batman. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out the height of this guy. From bottom to the top of his head, sitting at about 7.4 inches tall. That's going to translate to a little over 18.5 centimeters. And if you go to the top of the ears, about 7.6 inches. Now, let's look at his articulation. So starting with his head here, like I said before, very surprised with how they executed the head articulation. It's literally one solid piece down to the base of the neck. Can rotate from side to side. Can look up and down. I mean, down quite a bit, up not so much. And it can tilt from side to side. Shoulders on a ball joint, they can go out completely more than 90 degrees. Pretty nice there. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between the shoulder and chest area. He can go forward and back, up, down, just increasing his range of motion there. Got a bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows below that. His wrist has a ball inside of it. It can rotate around, and it's hinged as well, but you can't really get much out of it. This gauntlet here is blocking his hand from going further up. I find that a little bit annoying. I'd like to be able to do a little bit more with his wrist. If you put a grapple in there, it's going to be pointed sort of downward. Can't really get it up. So he's got ball joint here, can rotate around, go forward and back. Another one below that can rotate around, also go forward and back, giving him a very wide range of motion in his torso here. Legs got about this far. Not a ball joint, but similar type concept. They can swivel at the top, a little more than some of the previous releases. Double jointed knees below that. Then he's got a ball on his ankle, very similar to his wrist. Go up and down just a tiny bit. It's blocked quite a bit from his boot there. Toe articulation, it can rotate around, and it can tilt and rock as well. And his cape is soft enough that he can sit in a chair with it, but it looks kind of ridiculous how it's sticking out on that side. I would love to see somebody mod this guy with a cloth cape. That would probably look great. Here he is, doing a little research in the Batcave. Here he is, riding on the Batraptor, driving through Gotham City. And here's Batman taking out a bunch of thugs in Gotham City. Here he is, perched on a gargoyle, overlooking Gotham City. Here are a bunch of modern versions of some Bat Family supporting characters. At the top here, we've got Batwoman, Ace the Bat Hound, Nightwing, Batman, Robin, Red Hood, Red Robin, and Batwing in the back. And then a little lower, we've got the Spoiler, Huntress, Black Canary, Bluebird, Batgirl, Duke Thomas, who's now the Signal, Katana, and Azrael. The Rebirth Bat Family. And now, let's check them out, compared with some other action figures. Starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is with the rest of the Merciless Wave. Another stunning display from McFarlane. They're not perfect, but he's definitely making strides, improving his figures, the way they look, trying new things with articulation. Nice job, McFarlane. If you don't want to get all three variants of the Robin Crow, you can get this entire set for $100. $25 each, 4 figures, and the Build-A-Figure. If you ask me, it's a great value for $100. Here he is with McFarlane's first attempt at a classic comic Rebirth Batman. I will say, this guy has grown on me quite a bit. At first, yeah, his small head and his sort of awkward torso really put me off, but he's really become one of my favorite go-to Batmans when sort of playing and messing around. He's very durable, which helps as well. Now, I'd say this guy, yes, he looks better, but he's a very specific look to Batman. This one here is still going to fit my generic, all-purpose Batman use. I'd say this figure overall is better, but I'm probably still going to use him more. Here he is, next to all the different traditional Bruce Wayne as Batman figures McFarlane has made so far. And technically, all these different figures are Bruce Wayne and Batman in some way, shape, or form. Here he is in front of the entire McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. I have a total of 37 figures here, and that's if you don't count the 3 Robin Crows as 3 figures, just as 1. And here's a little bit more of an aerial view. And now, let's check him out next to some other action figures from different various companies to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. I'll try to focus my comparisons with other Batman figures whenever possible. Here he is with some of his McFarlane brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And here he is, next to some DST, or Diamond Select toys. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Batman figures. And with some NECA Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And here he is, with some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Batman figures. And here, with some Mafex Batman figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts Batman figures. And finally, here he is, with some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this figure is very nice, but he's not without his flaws. So first of all, his sculpt is fantastic. I really like the weathering, the texture, the detail, the damage on his suit. His accessories and the axes don't really do much for me, but I'm not familiar with the source material, and frankly, I've never even heard of Forge from Metal, the New Age of Heroes. Thank you, McFarlane. Not only are you making me buy more figures, but you're going to make me track down more comics as well. His articulation is pretty much where I have a problem with him. I'm very surprised how they handled his neck. I know I've seen a lot of complaints about it, and it is not how I would have chose to have it done. And then both his wrists and ankles are a little bit sort of prohibited from moving by the sculpt, and I find that frustrating. You can't quite get him into his ankle down pose, or his wrist can't go up to hold his accessories properly. Beyond that, this guy is great. He looks fantastic. He's very large. His cape and his sort of facial expression are for a very unique set of circumstances. He can't be your all-purpose Batman, and that's kind of what I was wanting from this guy. Still, it's a very nice figure. but fell a little bit short of my expectations. If I were to rate this guy, I think I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Like I said before, he is a very nice figure, but not quite what I was hoping he was going to be. So keep an eye out for the rest of my McFarlane DC Multiverse figure reviews. They're coming very soon. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you like the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.